Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Zodiac with me, Happy Mzembe. The headlines at this hour. UTM President Dr. Michael Usi rebukes members he claims are undermining his leadership. MRA asks contractor on one-stop border post at Zomwe to expedite construction of a weight bridge to ease congestion. Education activists suggest adoption of new initiatives for mobilizing support for needy students in higher learning institutions. In other news, Biden approves Kamala Harris as his replacement. Now the news in detail. Vice President Dr. Michael Usi has rebuked some UTM party members he claims are fueling sabotage within the party aimed at undermining his leadership. Dr. Usi says he will not fight back such members, declaring that he is UTM president and people must accept it. He was responding to remarks by Mulanje Central UTM coordinator yesterday, alleging that some senior UTM officials had instructed supporters not to attend Usi's meeting in the district. Alex Banda reports.
Vice President Dr. Michael Usi, who is also UTM president, was on Sunday back to his roots at Golden Village in the area of Traditional Authority Chikumbu in Mulanje district. Speaking during a meet and greet with peers, traditional leaders and relatives in his village, a UTM district coordinator for Mulanje Central constituency, Joseph Majogora, alleged that some senior UTM officials told supporters to boycott the Usi meeting. In reaction, Vice President Dr. Michael Usi rebuked this tendency. He declared that he is UTM president and people would do well to accept it.
Let them know that that's not good. And I will not fight them. Such issues we discuss in the boardroom. What they have done or what they attempted to do should not be condoned. But I thank God that people turn out large numbers as they have done because they know the truth. And let me say this, some are saying I am the acting president of UTM. No, I am the president of UTM. That's what the Constitution says.
Usi also said he will consult his Secretary General Patricia Kaliati to call for a National Governing Council meeting soon. For Zodiac and Blantyre, this is Alex Banda.
Meanwhile, the Vice President has warned errant civil servants that they risk being fired for such behavior which impacts on effective public service delivery for progressive development. Usi, speaking in Mulanje yesterday, also cautioned against bureaucracy and sabotage in government.
About relevance, when you are given a task, or indeed you have applied for a job, there's an agreement. You want to achieve the given goals, the desired futures. Now, if you are not relevant to that cause, then the best thing is for you to be fired or for you to leave. President Chakwera has always emphasized the need to have dialogue, to explain, to motivate, which is good. But even in such a circumstance, if one does not follow instructions, you reprimand. You reprimand. So it is there. Only that it has not been enforced. What I'm saying right now is not news. Not only in Malawi, but all over. Whoever is not doing what he's supposed to do, it has to be put it out. Because we want to deliver. Malawians are going through turbulences. It's not that we don't have anything. We do. But because of human behavior, we are where we are. If we all adopted governance or corporate behavior, business behavior like, we would be somewhere. So what we are saying is Malawians should not be given a raw deal. Malawians should be treated fairly.
The Malawi Revenue Authority has asked the contractor engaged to construct one-stop border post at Zomwe in Karonga to expedite construction of a way bridge to ease congestion at the station. Speaking to Zodiac on Sunday after appreciating progress, MRA Commissioner General John Biswick says currently the station receives 40 to 50 imported vehicles average per day, saying completion of the facility will help to reduce time being spent by traders to clear their goods and services. For details, here's Adam Sundaninge.
MRA Commissioner General John Biswick has emphasized on the need for the contractor constructing a one-stop border post to consider expediting construction of a way bridge in order to ease congestion, as trucks carrying cargo take more than 3 days before being cleared. Biswick disclosed that Zomwe remains one of the key border stations as it received 40 to 50 imported vehicles per day, saying the facility is crucial in facilitating trade between Malawi and Tanzania.
We have got 3 main border stations. We have Zomwe, we have Leza, we have got Mwanza, and also Njinji. And the Zomwe is among the top 3 in terms of revenue generation because it handles a cargo which comes through Dar es Salaam and also cargo which is going being exported through Dar es Salaam.
A resident engineer for the project, Msafiri Seboro, expressed upbeat of reaching 80 to 90% of the works before completion deadline. Sebolo said heavy rains and land reclamation have affected the progress, as currently only 20% physical progress has been registered.
Started with the reclamation of the land. We've done about 4 meters of backfill compacted. We also started doing the retaining wall around the site. And also, we've started the foundations for some of the buildings.
The 16.1 billion kwacha facility is being constructed with financial support from the World Bank. Reporting for Zodiac, this is Adams Clement Undaninge.
Some tobacco farmers in Lilongwe, whose bales were confiscated by Tobacco Commission for presenting nested tobacco to the market, are boycotting completing filling forms for rehandling the green gold over misunderstandings on the law being used. The farmers cite lack of transparency and failure by the Commission to provide necessary information on how their tobacco be sold and stipulated penalties according to the law as some of their concerns. The Commission spokesperson, Teleforas Chigwenembe, says ignorance of the law is not an excuse and urges the farmers to do the needful for their tobacco to be sent for rehandling. Franklin Tambalika has filed this report.
One of the concerned farmers says since the Commission withheld their tobacco last week, their efforts to engage officials from the Commission on the matter have proved futile, a development which has raised eyebrows on their part. He claims that the Commission confiscated 32 of 58 bales of tobacco he delivered to Kanengo auction floors.
I am surprised that TC would like to sell my tobacco under its reg number. It's very unusual because TC does not grow tobacco and they are not clear on the penalty connected to such offense.
Central Region Chairperson for Tobacco Farmers, Lyson Banda, blames the Tobacco Commission for failing to publicize the newly adopted tobacco nesting handling procedures and regulatory guidelines of the Tobacco Industry Act of 2024.
We are expecting to meet them on Tuesday this week for us to appreciate how they will deduct from the rehandled bales. Authorities failed to engage farmers on the new guidelines. That's why we are alarmed.
Tobacco Commission spokesperson Teleforas Chigwenembe says boycotting completion of nesting case handling form on the part of the farmers is a waste of time.
Some farmers in the northern region, in the central region, they have already completed their forms and they have allowed us to proceed to send their tobacco for rehandling. And that's the way to go. It is better they complete the forms and allow the process to proceed.
According to the guidelines in the Tobacco Industry Act, the rehandled bales shall be sold by the Tobacco Commission under its regulation number, and that the proceeds of such tobacco will be in the custody of the regulator until the processing of the administrative penalties is concluded.
The Slow Food Organization, through its Harness Farms project, has implored local farmers to embrace agroecological farming to maximize profits through indigenous crop production. The project's co-leader, Manvesta Axon Koza, said this during the Indigenous Food Exhibition at Enukweni in Mzimba district, aimed at encouraging farmers to adopt the crop system. Norbert Mzembe reports.
Speaking during the Indigenous Food Exhibition at Enukweni in Mzimba District Friday, the Harness Farms Project's co-leader, Manvesta Axon Koza, said farmers have the potential to improve their livelihoods as the Slow Food Organization has already started securing markets for them. Koza further says the indigenous cropping also help retain moisture and soil fertility through intercropping, as it only requires the use of organic fertilizers and not chemical ones that increase salinity, which negatively affects function of soil microbes.
Yeah, we locally produce products which are grown without using chemicals have high nutrients, especially the indigenous foods. They are very rich in natural nutrients, and which we want the consumers to be able to benefit so that they remain healthy. We have health and strong people as a nation. Yes, since we started implementing the various projects as consortium members, we've seen that there was a shortage in terms of accessibility of these products. That's why we established these 4 markets.
One of the farmers, Violet Mbeye, has appreciated the farming, saying she is able to fend for her family through the sale of her indigenous crops like millet, cucumbers, groundnuts, maize and others in a raw or value-added form.
In my case, I usually use manure. In my garden. My first benefit is food security, because if you don't have enough food, you cannot prosper in anything. So food security is my first profit. Then I sell the surplus. The surplus I sell according to how much I have harvested that year.
Reporting for Zodiac, this is Norbert Mzembe.
Watching the news on Zodiac, and this afternoon you are with me, Happy Mzembe. We'll be back after this break.
Life moves fast, and so should your packages. Say goodbye to waiting and hello to convenience with Post Courier, your go-to courier service. When you choose Post Courier, you're choosing speed, reliability, and peace of mind. I can always count on Post Courier for quick and safe deliveries. They never let me down.
With special guest Tim Godfrey are bringing the Kingdom World Tour to Malawi. Join us on Sunday 11th August at Malawi Square at Umodzi Park from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for this unforgettable musical experience. Get your tickets now at kwenda.co. Prices start at just 20,000 kwacha for a normal ticket. The VIP experience tickets are 50,000 kwacha, and the VVIP experience tickets are just 100,000 kwacha. And with the VVIP experience, you get to meet and greet Maverick City, Kirk Franklin, and Tim Godfrey. Make sure not to miss out on the Kingdom World Tour by visiting kwenda.co today to secure your spot. See you there.
Welcome back. My name is Happy Mzembe, and let's take another look at the headlines as we continue. UTM President Dr. Michael Usi rebukes members he claims are undermining his leadership. MRA asks contractor on one-stop border post at Zomwe to expedite construction of a way bridge to ease congestion. Education activists suggest adoption of new initiatives for mobilizing support for needy students in higher learning institutions. In other news, Biden approves Kamala Harris as his replacement. Moving on with the news. Education activists under the banner Ambassadors Charity Trust are proposing adoption of Education for All Webzone, an initiative aimed at incorporating the corporate world to connect with the institutions of higher learning in mobilizing financial resources to benefit the needy students. The Trust's founding director, Blessings Chiwosi, feels continued over-reliance on public students' loans will never be enough to cater for the growing number of students in need of education support at all levels in the country. The Ministry of Education has implored capable institutions to help government implement such initiatives. Franklin Mtambalika has filed this report. Speaking to Zodiac, the founding director of Ambassadors Charity Trust, Blessings Chiwosi, says education is an important form of investment in home capital development. Chiwosi says, therefore, tertiary institutions are charged with formation of human capital through teaching, building knowledge base through research and knowledge development, and dissemination and use of knowledge by interacting with knowledge users. He says it is for this reason that they consider the private sector key in addressing several challenges needed students encounter in their pursuit to attaining higher education.
Education for All Webzone, connecting the corporate world and the universities and the needy students, and with all willing and capable individuals who would put their resources in a basket where in turn the students will give back the workforce. These students would not, after getting their certificate, get employment somewhere else up until they pay back.
Commenting on the proposal, spokesperson in the Ministry of Education, Mphatso Mkonera, acknowledges the critical role civil society plays in ensuring increased access to equitable education, but stressed the need for the stakeholders to work in line with the government's policies.
We would like to appeal to other individuals and other institutions which have not yet joined this journey to join us in providing quality services in the education sector. Government, through the Ministry of Education, is already doing a lot, but cannot do everything alone.
Every academic year, the Higher Education Students' Loans and Grants Board is overwhelmed with applications from needy students requiring educational support. Minister of Tourism Vera Kamtugule has urged businesses to prepare for next year's Malawi International Tourism Expo to ensure its success. Speaking in Blantyre during a thank you reception for the 2024 Expo's partners and sponsors, Kamtugule highlighted that this year's event featured 280 exhibitors, up from 120 last year.
In a nutshell. And this event was our way of showing our gratitude to our partners for the Malawi International Tourism Expo. But not just that, because I think when we were partnering them this year, we categorically told them that we would want to develop a lasting relationship with these institutions. Last year we had 120 exhibitors, but this year we had close to 280 exhibitors, more than double that number. And so I think for me that only shows that people are benefiting from the Tourism Expo. One of the challenges that we had this year was to convince people to say, why should you respond or come to exhibit at the meeting? And so what we did a lot of sensitization campaigns to say this is also how you structure yourself and position yourself when you come there, because people come there and they just sit on their stand, or they'll be moving around, or maybe they're just they're just themselves. When they go to the bathroom, nobody's manning their products or their services and all that. So we had to sensitize them to say, how do you strategize, how do you position yourself to benefit from the Malawi International Tourism Expo, because there's a lot of opportunities that are there when we host such kind of events. So we wanted them to maximize their presence at the meeting. And so I think a lot of people now have gotten to understand to say, how do we benefit from all of this? But also we're talking about businesses, business to business communication and engagements, both from the domestic market but also from the international market. You may be aware that this year we hosted close to 60 hosted buyers, and so it was also an opportunity for the hosted buyers to meet product developers, but also marketers within Malawi, not only from within the tourism industry but also from the other sectors as well. So
Stanley Kabango, General Manager of Umods Park and Resorts, rated the Expo 9 out of 10, praising its execution. He emphasized the need for early preparation to maintain and exceed this year's standards. In other news, United States President Joe Biden has officially endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as his preferred successor for the Democratic Party's nomination in the upcoming election. This endorsement came shortly after Biden's announcement that he would not seek re-election. In a statement posted on X, formerly Twitter, Biden emphasized that his decision to drop out of the race was motivated by his desire to focus on his presidential duties and not the campaign. He highlighted his choice of Harris as his running mate as one of the best decisions of his presidency, expressing confidence in her ability to lead the party to victory. And well, that's about what we had time for in this edition of the news. Before we leave you a recap of the top stories. UTM President Dr. Michael Usi rebukes members he claims are undermining his leadership. MRA asks contractor on one-stop border post at Zomwe to expedite construction of a way bridge to ease congestion. Education activists suggest adoption of new initiatives for mobilizing support for needy students in higher learning institutions. In other news, Biden